This is a Global Original Podcast. Hello.
Oh, Nicholas, how are ya?
I'm super, thanks for asking. So nice to make your acquaintance. How do you do?
Super? Super? What kind of word is super?
It's a super word.
Actually, everything is super, isn't it? Oh my God, I'm super excited. Oh my God, it's just so super cool. Oh.
Well, yeah. It was when I said it.
Well, it is. What? This is cool.
Oh, what did you just do?
What do you mean?
There's just the loudest noise I've outside of a nuclear explosion just came through my speakers. You just ran your fingers over the microphone, didn't you? You idiot.
It's my headphones. That's probably why. Yeah, they're very sensitive, these things.
It's the only sensitive thing about you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Start as you mean to go on, eh?
Yes, we started superly.
Hey, let's have a super podcast today.
Yeah, I hope we have a super time. Wouldn't that be super?
Sometimes words are just funny if you keep saying them, aren't they? Well, I don't know why.
It's weird that you should say that, but I was about to say the exact same thing. If you just keep saying the same thing over and over again, then it just becomes bizarre.
It does. It really does. I'm going to practice that later. Anyway, are you all right? Apart from being super, are you okay?
Yes, I am. I've got a hole in my head, but we can talk about that later.
Eh?
Yeah.
What? Hang on, we shut my email down.
Okay.
I'll just shut that down so you don't keep hearing that bing if you're hearing it. I don't know if you are or not, but
I bet we do. I bet there's several bings to come.
There'll be something.
Machines that you've forgotten to turn off.
I'm just switching it all off right now as we speak.
Okay then.
So you've got a hole in your head.
Yes. Dear Liza.
I got a hole in my head. How can you just have a hole in your head? What, did somebody shoot you with a bow and arrow or something?
It's a tooth thing. There's a hole in the tooth of my head. I'm in an enormous amount of pain, Carol, but don't you worry about a thing.
No, I'm not really. But what do you what do you mean it's your tooth thing? Your tooth is in your mouth.
Yeah. Well, my mouth is in my head.
Oh, well then you haven't got a hole in your head then, have you? Got a hole in your tooth?
Well, my tooth is in my head. It's the same blooming thing. Anyway, I was going to talk about this later, but we might as well dive straight in. Hi, dear Nick and Carol. A question for Nick. Since you stopped whining about your teeth, I wondered about it. How did the story end? Kind greetings from the Dutch Herringtown, Vincent. I don't know what that means.
No, you were whining about your teeth, were you?
Well, I was explaining more than whining, I'd say. I don't whine, Carol, as you know full well. I never complain. I was explaining rather than complaining. God, you know how much my tooth has cost already just to keep this thing in my head? £1,500.
Oh, stop it. You're joking.
I checked how much my car costs. You know those companies that say, simply put your
registration in here, and then they phone you up every 5 minutes.
They don't call. They haven't called me up. They just sent me a message saying, your car is worth £150.
You're joking. Is it really only worth 150 quid?
£150, which is a tenth of the cost so far of keeping this tooth in my head.
So why are you persevering with it then? Why don't you just get it taken out and save yourself a whole lot of pain and a whole lot of money?
That's what I was going to do. I went to his surgery and I said, just take it out. Because the alternative was to get root canal treatment, and that's a synonym for the most painful thing that has ever been experienced by man. So I thought, I'm not going to go through that. With the
most expensive.
With the potential that he's going to have to take it out anyway. Mm. So I said, just take it out. And like an idiot, I sat there while he persuaded me to keep it in and to have the root canal treatment at that moment on that very day.
Oh my God!
It wasn't actually very painful, much to my surprise. I mean, I had 2 of those massive injections from the huge needles that he comes at. It's like a spear he sticks in your mouth. Like you feel it's going to come out your feet. It goes in so deep. That was the worst part, but everything else was okay. And so he put a temporary crown on, and then when on the day that I was supposed to get the replacement, the permanent one, he went on holiday. So I've got to wait another 2 weeks. And in the meantime, the temporary one has developed a massive hole in the top of it that I can stick my tongue in. Carol, I'm going to send you a picture of it in the post.
Oh, please don't. Do you know what? Then nothing goes through me more than people telling me about their tooth pain.
I'm going to send you a picture. Right, I'm taking a picture as we speak. Oh.
No. Well, I won't get it because I haven't got my email on. So don't. I really don't want to see it. I can't bear. My tooth pain is okay, but other people's tooth pain is just, oh my God, I can't bear it. People have their wisdom teeth out. They have to go in hospital for it.
The pictures come out fabulously well, Carol. You'll be able to use it as a screensaver.
Oh, great. Thanks very much. I'll remove my picture of the beautiful beach in Nice in the south of France, and I'll put your holy tooth on it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Why did you do that, though?
I'm going to get it blown up poster size and pop it in the post.
Yeah, but how did you... Why did you say, okay, then, let's do that, instead of saying, no, take it out? Why? What was his reason for persuading you, or how did he manage to persuade you to keep it in there? Why?
Well, I left the house and I thought, that's really annoying because I don't have any molars on the bottom on the other side, and I've only got one because I've had my wisdom teeth out. So I'm much less wise than I used to be, if you can believe that.
Oh, and, yeah.
And so I'd be chewing with just the front 8 teeth on either side. And I thought, well, that seems like an acceptance of being old to me. I mean, having a mouth that looks like a disused cemetery just seems to be a bit old. You know what I mean? So I thought, no, I was disappointed leaving the house that I was going to come back without it. And so I was easily persuaded. So that was an extra 4 for like 500 quid.
Well, you're mad because I had a tooth out recently and I didn't feel a thing, didn't even hurt. And I had a pain in my face, right? For
hang on, let's just chew that one over. Carol is a face ache.
No, I definitely had a pain in my face for months. I mean, literally months. And I went to the dentist. He said, I can't see anything. There's nothing there. I don't know what it is. So I went had a scan. I had an MRI. I had all these things because this pain in my face was pretty bad, right?
Yeah, Carol face ache, McGiffin.
So anyway, so I thought, well, the guy, the person who did the scan, the consultant who spoke to me, said there's nothing there. So there's no reason for it. It has to be a dental problem. It has to be. So I went back to the dentist and I said, it's a dental problem. Now find out what the it is, right? And he looked at me and he just went, right, okay. So he got his big goggles on and then put this light in and then this torch and this magnifying glass. And there was a hairline crack in one of my back teeth. And obviously he didn't really see it with his normal eyes. And so when he had a really good look at it with this camera thing, he found it and he said, well, I'm going to have to take it out. There's nothing we can do about it. So I'm like, what, now? He went, yeah, now. Literally, got these, I can't even tell you. It's too awful. What you see and what you feel doesn't match. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly.
Because you see him put that massive,
Because just before
that
the
needle
COVID
and then the pliers.
The pliers. Yeah, because just before the COVID nightmare, I had the other side molar taken out, having refused to go along with the root canal treatment. I thought I'd just take it out. I chew on the other side anyway.
Yeah.
So they inject you, and you think you think that it's going to be a horrific experience, and he says, "That's it. It's all done."
Done.
Like, what?
I know.
I didn't even know you'd started.
I'm like, where is it then? Where is it? Well, it's there. It's there in that bowl. I'm like, because I've got my eyes shut because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to hurt so much. Nothing. I hardly felt a thing. And I really felt like, oh, my head's going to be going backwards and forwards, like rocking.
Yeah, he's going to have his foot on your chest, yanking it out.
That is exactly what you think is going to happen. And I did not feel a thing. It was absolutely unbelievably amazing because I remember when I was a kid, like when you're little, you had teeth out all the time. They always used to pull your teeth out. And I remember it used to really hurt. And that was even with the gas. You could still feel it. It was horrible. It really hurt. Now it's like, oh, go take all my teeth out. I might as well just have false teeth and I won't have a toothache anymore.
It came out so easily. It's a wonder any of my teeth are still in my mouth. They just fall out on the pillow overnight. It doesn't seem to be very well set in there at all. Did you look at the thing after he'd taken it out?
Did I? Yes, I did. Yeah. You couldn't see the crack in it, but it was obviously there. And straight away, the pain went and I never had the pain again. So that's definitely what it was.
But it's hideous though, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Awful.
It's about an inch underground, like a massive iceberg. Not underground, under gum. Isn't it? It's quite amazing, really. Yeah. When you think, that's embedded in my gums. Oh, it was pretty horrible. It was pretty bloody as well. But yeah, it just stopped bleeding a few hours later. And then, what's a molar then? Is that the back bit, the back one?
Yeah, the ones that if you were a cow, you'd chew grass with those.
Oh, that's what I had out then on the right side. Yeah, the back one. And now I chew on the left side, but there's something going on there as well. But only when I eat sugar, like chocolate.
But isn't that weird? Yeah, because chocolate upsets mine as well. You get it on the tooth and then it does something to it. Like there's something in chocolate that's not in any other kind of food that really sort of gets through your teeth. Weird. Yeah.
And I have to make a conscious effort to try and eat the chocolate on the other side.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't go into that tooth. And I don't know, it doesn't hurt any other time. Apart from when I drink cold drinks, that's why I can't drink cold water or anything because it's quite. I think there's a bit of sensitivity on the tooth as well, but just that tooth. But I might just have that one out as well.
I bet you drink cold wine though.
Oh yeah, well that's different, isn't it?
That doesn't count. Yeah, that's medicine. That is.
Well, cold wine, cold rosé wine. Oh, you can't beat it, and cold beer. But that's about the only cold drinks I can stand. I can't bear anything else. No.
So I don't know whether to go back and say that this temporary crown's got a hole in it. Can you fill it for the next 2 weeks before I actually get the appointment to get the proper one in? And whether that's going to cost me another car.
Exactly. More than a car. More than your car. What sort of car have you got? Is it like a Flintstone mobile or something? 150 quid?
Yeah, it's a great car. I think it's a classic. It's an old BMW from 1998, I think.
Oh wow! I bet it's cool. Is it super cool?
Well, not lately, but I used to get people coming up to me and saying, "Oh, you want to sell that?" I wish I'd taken the money then because it would have been considerably more than 150 quid.
150 quid. Yeah. I thought they were like classics, old 90s BMWs. It can't be worth just that.
Yeah, if you got people who buy all those old cars, they want a manual gear lever. They don't want automatic. And I can't be doing with manual. It's like, forget that. That's just way too much work. So I bought an automatic. So that's not quite what they want. And they also want, like the really desirable ones are M cars, the super fast
the M
ones.
series, yeah.
They cost a bomb. But the one that I've got is both not an M and an automatic. So it's much less desirable.
I'm going to Google it. What's the model? Tell me what the model is. BMW.
It's an E36 328.
And what year is it?
I think it's 98.
I'm going to... Oh, no, they're nice.
Yeah, they are.
Do you know what? I had one of those once, exactly the same, in dark green. And the first day I drove it down to Hampshire to see my friends. And I drove back, tried to drive back to London, and it broke down, right? It overheated and broke down. Guess where? You just think of the worst place in London you could possibly break down. The worst place.
The Marylebone flyover.
Hyde Park Corner.
Oh, my God.
Seriously, it broke down. It stopped in Hyde Park Corner, and I was half in and half out of a bus lane. So, can you imagine the carnage? It was really, it was the worst day of my life. Oh my God, the abuse! It was terrible. It was terrible. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was absolutely rammed, jammed, packed. What could I do? I mean, the car just stopped. It was all smoke coming out the bonnet and everything.
There's still a traffic jam from that accident as we speak.
Well, it wasn't an accident. It just stopped. Right, I knew it was going to. You know, when a car overheats, like old cars do overheat. I don't think they do that anymore. When they overheat, you can feel them chugging a bit. And you can see the temperature gauge going up and up and up. And then suddenly you can smell bad things, smoke and God knows what. And then they stop. But I kept going. I thought, I'll get home. I'll get home. Luckily, I was a member. I was a member of the RAC. So I called them up and they said, oh, God, I'm reliving it. They said, we're really busy, so we're going to be at least 2 hours.
Oh.
So I'm standing there on Hyde Park Corner of this car. Anyway, eventually, a couple of people helped me move it, pushed it into the actual bus lane and a half on the curb. It's right by that bit. As you come up from Knightsbridge, it's that bit there, you know, where all the buses used to stop.
Yes,
I don't think they stop there anymore. Yeah, right there.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I broke down. It was the middle of winter and I was with some mates and we all decided to pile into a car and just go for a drive. Yeah. And we didn't take any warm clothes with us because, you know, the car's going to be warm and we weren't going to get out, so no problem. So we're in like T-shirts in February and we're bombing down Park Lane and it conks out there. Like all the lights come on and it just glides to a halt. And so we're sitting with cars zooming by us in the middle of Park Lane, just going, just trying to start. And then in like minus like 10 degree, it felt like we were in the North Pole. And we, all three of us, squeezed into a telephone box because there's no mobile phone and waited for what turned out to be the fire brigade who came and said, you know, you're all lucky to be alive because the fuel pipe thing had come loose and was just spraying the engine with petrol. Shit. And we were sitting there going, like the spark plugs flashing.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, my, no, do you know what's really funny? The thought of you all squeezing into the telephone box,
yes.
Do you know what? There might be young people listening to this who don't even know what a telephone box is because they're not there anymore, are they? There aren't telephone boxes, and if there are, they're just full of piss. People just go in.
The smell of it. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, my God. That is funny. That's not funny because you could have died. You could have died.
It's a stupid thing. I mean, when you think back of all the stupid things that you've done, it's almost really quite alarming, isn't it? You almost get a sense of as though it's still possible for you to get killed by the stupid things that you have survived. You ever get that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just telling someone the other day about one time I was on holiday in St. Lucia and I was on my own and these two blokes were like walking along the marina where I was, and they were just like, "Oh, do you want to come for a boat ride?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right."
Warning.
Seriously. And I said, "Yeah, all right then. Whose boat is it?" I said, "Well, we're in the what do you call it? What's that? People who go on ships, but they're not navy. They're like working ships, and they deal with freight and things like that. Merchant seamen. That's it. And those were merchant seamen. Our boat's down there, and I'm like, oh, okay then. So we got we got in this dinghy, right? It's a big industrial dinghy, but the sea, it was so rough, it was really bad. And this dinghy was like, going all over the place, and even at the time, I didn't even think, oh my God, I'm going to die in a minute because this is going to tip over, and we're all going to drown. And I was just like in this boat, going, oh, you're getting in the boat. Saw this big ship, took me on the ship, right, and I went down to their cabin, and they started just playing a load of music, and I thought, oh. It didn't even occur to me that they might do something untoward. Anyway, the good news is they didn't. And we just had like a really good time drinking beers and listening to music. And then they were pissed as fast, got back in the dinghy and took me back to the place I was staying in St. Lucia. And never once occurred to me that I might have put myself in danger. I mean, how insane is that? It's not reasonable, is it?
If you're listening to this, do not copy what either I or Carol have done. Listen and learn from our mistakes so that you don't make yours.
Yeah,
I was hitchhiking through America, and I left Denver with the plan to go to California.
To go to where? California.
California, yeah. And it was sort of September, I think, and my plan was to hitch through the Rocky Mountains. Yeah. And I got about 10 miles, and somebody said, that's a really bad idea because you have no survival gear. There's bears up there. It's probably going to be snowing in a couple of days. You're going to die. So I said, righto, I'll go back. And these two hippies picked me up in a combi van, like one of those old VW vans.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, okay, yeah, well, we're going, just up the way a while, get in the back. And so I'm sitting in the back, and I'm sitting on a blanket on something hard. And I'm trying to get comfortable. So I lifted the blanket to see what was under there. And it was a massive gun, like an assault rifle of some sort.
What?
And they just parked in the middle of absolutely nowhere in the middle of the night and said, well, we're just going to camp here. But first, let's go and shoot some bullets. And I'm like, yeah, okay then. So in pitch darkness, we're marching out into a field, and we're in the middle of absolutely nowhere, no lights, nothing at all. I'm marching out with two complete strangers and an assault rifle into the middle of a field. And about halfway there, I thought, I'm probably not going to come back from this. And the bullets they had in it were at least 2 inches long. They were absolutely huge.
Really?
And one of them just fired into the distance, and these sparks just flying out of the end of this gun. And he gave the gun to me so I could have a go. So I was a bit more relaxed about that.
Hang on, how old were you then? How old?
It was the second time I went to the States, so it'd be 21 probably.
Right. Yeah.
And then after we'd done that, we just shot a few bullets off into the distance. We went back and went to sleep and woke up the next day, and literally the only house for about 10 miles in any direction was in the exact direction that we were shooting.
Oh my God. Well, hang on, but so I thought you said let's go and shoot a few bullocks, like cows to eat or something. No. Shoot bullets. Just shoot bullets.
Yeah, just shoot bullets, yeah. Not at anything, just for the pleasure of shooting them.
Do people do that? Is that what they do? Just shoot into space or midair? Why would you do that? Why would you waste the bullets doing that?
Well, you know what? When I did fire it, I got America's obsession with guns instantly. I thought this wave of power goes through you. I thought, wow, that was great. I really want to do that again. And then I sort of twigged, that's why they're so obsessed. It's this surge of power that goes through you.
Well, you see, this thing, I kind of miss having no fear. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you're that age, like 21, when I got in that dinghy, I was probably, I don't know, 25, 26, still quite young. And you're just really fearless at that age, aren't you? You just are, whatever. Well, maybe not now, but...
It's not fearless, more than ignorant.
Stupid.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. Yeah.
But that's quite nice, though, isn't it? Because I don't know, everybody's so scared of everything these days. Everyone thinks the world is a much worse place. Well, why? Oh, I mean,
nobody hitches anymore. Have you noticed that? No one hitches. You never see anybody hitching anymore. And I was hitching through.
Yes, they do in France. They do in France.
Oh, really?
All the time. Yeah, I picked up an old lady once.
Oh, well, see, yeah, that's sort of okay-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
But I used to hitch around Los Angeles. I stayed there for a month, and because it's so big, there's no center to Los Angeles. It's just, and I didn't have a car or any money, so I was hitching in LA. I hitched through Texas, and then found out when I got back that there was a serial killer killing hitchhikers in the exact area I was going through.
They do hitching. Everyone hitches in France, and the thing is, really? Well, but they do. It's just normal. We see people all the time hitching to go up into the village because the buses are like once an hour,
right? And
it's all uphill. So if people are elderly or just can't walk because it's too hot, we always pick them up. Well, I've picked up an old woman. Mark went mad because he's a proper scaredy cat, scared of everything, and scared of his own shadow, actually, genuinely. And I picked up this bus to get this done. He went, are you mad? Are you mad? She might be a murderer. I'm like, look at her. She's got a little shopping bag and she's got like those tight things on her legs. So obviously she's not a murderer. And she got in the car and she started like speaking French. And we were just like talking back to her in English and had a lovely, lovely conversation with her about nothing, and then dropped her off in the village. I went, see, that was easy, wasn't it? Because she was probably waiting for a bus in 99 degrees of heat, the poor woman. So I just picked her up. But everywhere you look, people are hitchhiking all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
The most frightening ride I had was in LA itself. She must have been 90 years old. She was in a VW Beetle. She was so small that she was looking through the steering wheel.
What? Oh, yes.
Not over it. She was so tiny. She was looking through it. And she had no concept of other cars on the road or the rules of the road or anything like that. If she was going to turn left, she was going to turn left. And nothing was going to dissuade her or halt her progress. I never thought I'd arrive alive.
Well, now, of course, that's why I used to hate LA, because I hated having to drive everywhere. And I hate anywhere I have to be where I have to drive everywhere. But LA now is so awash with Ubers. Everyone gets Ubers now. No one really drives anymore. Well, they do, but, there would used to be no other way of getting around LA, was there really, unless you had a car?
No public transport.
No. Anyway, should we do another problem?
Yeah, all right, why not? Hi, Nick and Carol. I'm not one for conversation and small talk. It's very difficult these days, considering I'm either queuing for petrol or searching for food in empty supermarkets. Nevertheless, I've always made it clear that I operate from a position of, I won't message you, but I will always reply if you message me, which is down to the fact that I don't care about what they're doing generally, but I will if they specifically need something. This is commonly known, so why after 2 months of no conversation with a friend do they send me a message saying I'm a bad person for not talking to her? Why should I always be the one to make the effort? Your advice would be much appreciated, as she messaged me 4 weeks ago and I haven't known what to do, which is probably pissing her off even more. Thanks, Simon.
Oh, I think it's quite a common problem, isn't it, really? people get really upset if you don't keep messaging them or you don't call them every 5 minutes. I've got friends that you know, like, oh, all right, stranger. I'm sorry, well, you haven't called me either. Do you know what I mean? It's like people are just so precious. You need to lighten up. Look, you don't need to be
I think that's probably a good policy. You don't message people if you haven't got anything to say. I mean, the amount of I bet the amount of CO2 that is pumped in the air for people just going, hello, you know, what are you doing? Nothing, you know, all that. If you multiply that 1 billion times, and there must be mega factories in the middle of, the prairies in America, but pumping out enough CO2 to sink islands just to keep people amused.
How does sending a message to someone cause any CO2 emissions, though? Really?
Oh, it does. The kids don't understand this. The emails and text messages and all of that, of course, they take energy. It's very small per message, but there's 6 billion people, let's say 3 billion people on Earth who are connected to the internet, and they're sending stupid messages about nothing at all to each other multiple times every day. That really adds up.
Well, but that's how things are now, and they created that. So stop chopping trees down, because we can't use paper anymore. Nobody uses paper, so let's just send everything electronically, and everybody does. So they've made a rod for their own back, haven't they? Really, the people who decided that we had to do that.
But when we used to communicate on paper, we didn't message each other, 10 times a day, or like a one-liner saying, you're right. Did we? We wrote 3 pages, we sent it off and didn't expect a reply for two weeks. Now, if 2 minutes goes by and somebody doesn't reply, you start freaking out.
Can you imagine how much money it would cost you in stamps to, every time if someone sent you a letter and said something, and then you just reply back, yeah, okay, thanks, like you do with an email.
Yeah.
Just imagine. I mean, you'd never get anything done. Be quite good though, wouldn't it? Because I don't know how many emails you get a day, but it's relentless. It's constant, and most of them are just rubbish. Do you know what I mean?
Well, most of them are adverts for stuff that you don't need.
Yeah, but also from other things, like everything. I can't deal with it sometimes, and if I don't go on my computer for one day, the next day it's like, oh, you have 88 emails. Like, why? Why? In one day.
You don't get work emails, presumably. My work emails, I open my email account at the end of the week, and there's 2,000 emails in there. How can you possibly read that?
So when you're doing your other job, you ask people to email your work email, like this one, nickandcarol@global.com, that.
Right. Now, these ones I do actually read. The other ones, for on air, if I read them on the air, I've read them. If I don't read them on the air, I probably haven't read them.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
The person through the glass goes through the emails and picks the ones that they think would be good on air. So if you hear me read it, I've read it. If you don't, I probably haven't.
Yeah, but they're topic related, aren't they? So they're always topical. So what would be the point in reading what someone has said after you've finished talking about something? Do you know what I mean?
Right. I agree.
This one's different because we need to know who needs the most help. I.e., nobody.
Yeah. So that we can make a special effort to ignore those ones. On that subject, hi, Nick and Carol. After hearing your sagely wisdom on the subject of smartphones, the World Wide Web and social media, I've decided to listen to you for once. I gave my smartphone to my parents for a week, stopped using all social media, and rebought a Nokia brick. It's been the best decision of my life. Everything's much simpler, and I have much more time to do useful things. I'm not looking at other people's fake lives on social media and comparing myself to them. Once again, thanks for your help. Sent from my Nokia 105. And I don't know what their name is because I cut that bit off by mistake.
Yeah, I think that's what I've got, a Nokia 105. Just a little phone that just makes phone calls, and it's got a snake on it. That's it. But but I still have a smartphone as well, which is annoying. But I totally get that, and it really does make sense that the amount of time you save by not having a smartphone is made. That's what my column was about last week in Best Magazine, the best magazine in the world.
The best magazine in the world, and the best places on the best shelves for the best people,
Yeah, and the best writers.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Well, it was about, do you remember, like a couple of weeks ago, there was all Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp all went down at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's like a worldwide meltdown. People were literally screaming with pain because they didn't have those 3 social media things for a few hours. And it's proper collective madness, isn't it? It really is. That people can't live their lives without this kind of constant communication with people they probably don't even know.
Yeah, it's the constant reinforcement of your ego and the constant sort of feedback loop of somebody liked me, somebody liked me here,
exactly.
Somebody left a message on there, somebody likes this picture, and it's like this constant me.
It just fuels narcissism in a massive way, doesn't it? And I don't know. I know. Well, we both look at Twitter, don't we? We both go on Twitter and wind ourselves up every now and again.
Too long. Okay, I'll admit it. I'll say it out loud. I have a problem with Twitter. It takes hours. If I had an actual job, I'd have been fired by now because I spend all morning on bleeding Twitter.
We know, Nickers, you tell us every single week.
Yes, and now I'm admitting that is a problem. And
it is a problem.
Do something about it.
You need to go to TwitHab.
That's a good idea. We should do a business. By this time next year, Carol, we'll have 1 million Twitter followers.
And telling people how to get unaddicted to Twitter. That should work. That should definitely work. I'm surprised there isn't like a rehab place for social media already, because people really do need detoxifying from it, don't they? Absolutely.
They do. Yeah, absolutely. You're totally right.
And it's a complete afterthought for me. I can't. Instagram, I just don't go on it much. I've got it.
Well, I don't even have an Instagram account. I don't know what it looks like, to be honest. I've never been on it.
I've got one. I've got quite a few followers on there, actually. I've got about 120,000 followers on there. And the last time... What do you
post on there?
Well, I don't know. Last time I posted... Oh, God, look, there it is. The last time I posted, it was the 17th of September.
I bet it was food.
No, it wasn't. It was me and Rusty Lee at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Glasgow practicing our pouts.
Right, it's a good job the world got to see that.
Well, the thing is, when I was on that tour, when I was doing that tour thing, the people really are completely obsessed with reporting absolutely everything they do every minute of the day.
Yeah.
And the girls on the tour, I mean, they're all experts at this social. I don't really get Instagram. It winds me up permanently because I don't know, certain things you can't do. And it's hard. Then you get the reels and then you get the things that disappear. And, I don't really know what they are.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But
well, people who do know Instagram will know what I'm talking about. But even though I don't know what I'm talking about. And when I'm at Loose Women as well, people are permanently on their phones sending out stuff on social media. And I'm like, how can you even be bothered to do that? I don't get it. I really don't get it. And some people make so much money out of it.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and I'm still going to come up against this barrier that I can't remember what the juice in your brain is, but it gets released the same as taking cocaine or going on a roller coaster or seeing a scary movie. It's like this juice hit. What is it? It's the same thing as like you get if you do extreme exercise or something like that, but you don't have to do any of those things. You just have to tweet a picture of your face and people will give you a thumbs up and you're like, oh...
Is it adrenaline or serotonin or something?
Yeah, serotonin. It's probably serotonin.
Yeah.
The little happy drug. Yeah.
I don't really. I don't. Sometimes I put something on there and then I don't even check how many people have liked it, because that's what people do it for, isn't it? Let me have a look at that one. Oh, look, 3,500 people liked that picture of me and Rusty Lee doing a pout.
but liking it is probably glancing it and just clicking it and then going straight on to the next one. It's like, it's like the next one and the next one and the next one. It is like taking a drug. People are addicted to the drug that their brain produces when they get likes on social media.
Yeah, but this is why I don't go on it much, because I feel obliged to like everything. Like, if I don't like it, my friends are going to look at it and go, why didn't you like that?
Like it?
Exactly. And so I just go through and like everything, even if I don't like it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's ridiculous.
I know it is.
You're in a worse state than me.
I know. I don't know why. And then the problem is, like with you and Twitter, the minute you go on it, it's really hard to get off it, because you just
get sucked in. Yeah. It's like a vortex. Yeah. Because it never ends. This is the difference between the internet and like a newspaper or a book. And that's why you're always kind of, even if you don't realize it, you're all sort of on edge when you're on the internet or social media, is because there is no end to it. If you're reading a newspaper or a book, you know where the end is because it's physically there, and beyond which you can't read. It can't take up your time once you've finished it. But the internet, there is no end. It just goes.
Oh, my God, that's such a brilliant analogy, observation. It really is, because it's so true. There's no end to it. Can you put that in a tweet? Shall I put the reason that you are all wasting so much time on social media is because there's no end to it. It's not like a book. When you read, Nicholas, that's brilliant. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to say that to people now. There's no end to it, and that's why it takes up so much time.
But it's also it's the on edge part. It's the feeling that you're not complete. You're never satisfied.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh my God, it's very worrying, and I'm going to stop it. I'm not going to even go on it anymore. But then sometimes I get offered money to put things on Instagram. Can you believe that?
Do you? Like what?
Yeah.
Boob shot?
No, not that sort of thing. No. No, not that sort of. I mean, to advertise things, to talk about things and mention things that they think that people who follow you might also want to buy. And so far, I've never done it. I've never accepted money for anything. But the thing is, as you know, everyone's got their price. Yes. So if someone came up and said, "Oh, look, here's $100,000 just to put a few Instagram posts out," I might be tempted. But for the money that I've been offered so far, I've thought, "Oh no, I don't want to do that." I know it sounds terrible, but I'll just say no.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. If we can do a whip round, £100, and Carol will whip them out for us.
$100,000, I said, not £100.
Oh,
$100,000.
That's right. Yeah, I got that wrong. Right.
Anyway.
To change the subject, dear Nick and Carol, found an old video in the loft. Question: how the hell did the Clangers and the Soup Dragon understand each other? And don't get me started on the rubbish that the Iron Chicken spouted.
I don't know about the Iron Chicken. I know the Clangers go like this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And the Soup Dragon, I don't know what the Soup Dragon is. Is that in the Clangers? I don't know.
I think so, yeah. There's going to be so few people that actually remember that. We'll just pass that over. But
That's true.
I'm sure it's available on an internet near you, the Clangers. Go and look in stunned amazement at what used to pass as entertainment for kids.
Well, what about Bill and Ben? Don't get me started on Bill and Ben. Weed. Yes. Yeah. But that was harmless children's entertainment, wasn't it? I mean, the stuff that kids have to watch now, I mean, it's not simple. It should be more simple. It's getting very complicated. isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. The only one that I know of, this is ancient history now. People used to watch this. They probably got kids themselves, but it was the Teletubbies. I mean, that was just the most infantile thing I've ever seen. And the children used to watch the Teletubbies. Really, you just grow up.
Yeah, but it had sinister undertones, didn't it?
Did it?
Yeah.
Sinister.
Yeah, sinister. It was.
How do you mean?
Well, I can't remember now, but somebody wrote an article about the Teletubbies saying why they could harm children in a certain way because of the sinister messages that, like, no, seriously. And I read it and I thought, oh my God, yeah, that does make sense actually.
But they don't say anything. They just go, ooh. Or I can't actually remember how they sound, but they don't say words, do they?
I'm going to try and Google the article and see if it's still there.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? Never mind.
All right.
This says, hello. Yes, it's the hello lady again.
Oh, yes.
Remember her?
Yeah.
I just want to tell Carol that I watched Loose Women today and it was so much better and livelier because Carol was on it. Also, I agreed with everything Carol said, says Nina. Wow, she is out of her mind.
Oh, Nina, at least somebody does. Nobody else does. That's a very nice compliment, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not very good with compliments. I don't take to them very well, but I don't mind that one because in a way I know it's true.
I used to throw compliments back at people. You know, when people call you on the radio and say, oh, I really love your show. I would often come back with some snarky thing like, oh, well, there must be something wrong with you then, along those lines.
Yeah.
And it makes a nice thing into a nasty thing. So you know what? When somebody compliments you, you just accept it, take it into you, don't make a big thing, and then you're past it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, thanks.
Just say thank you. Exactly. I know. And I should get into that habit. But I'm like, with compliments, especially, I feel like sometimes from other women, they're a little bit veiled and a bit kind of passive aggressive. Do you know what I mean?
Like what?
Well, they're sort of like compliments that aren't compliments. Well, I don't trust women. I don't trust women. Women are not very well. The problem is women just don't trust other women, do they? Really? And anyone who says, "Oh, I only hang out with women and all my best friends are women," I don't feel like that. I have got some great friends, and most of them are women, but I just don't know. I think there's this kind of evolutionary instinct that women don't trust other women because they're permanently in competition for male attention and for reasons of procreation, I suppose. So that's why. I don't know. Honestly, I love my friends. I love them all. But if they're over complimentary, I just think, what's your game? Do you know what I mean?
Can I just say, Carol, that you are sounding absolutely fantastic today. You really are. You're funny and amusing and educative. It's really extraordinary. How do you do it?
But you're a bloke, see, so I'll take it from you. Thanks, Nickers. And that's not even a word, though, is it? Educative. That's not a word, is it? Educational, you mean?
It's educational that you would say that. Yeah. See, we're learning all the time.
See, we're learning. Exactly. So, yeah, I know. I'm right. I'm always right. I know that. It's a terrible thing. Problem. It's a problem. Can you help, Nickers?
Not with that particular one, no.
No,
hey, Rick and Harold.
Think you are. Sorry, go on.
No, you are. Hey, Rick and Harold. Just thought I should let you know I was Googling Nick, looking for one of his books, and one of the predictive or suggested searches said Nick Abbot wife. I thought I'll bite, so I gave it a click, and it comes up with a photo of you two side by side in one image. I guess this is really your problem more than it is mine, says Jake.
What?
Can you imagine?
What?
Can you imagine? God, we would have killed each other. We would have killed each other before we left the church.
Oh my God! Hang on a minute. I can't see that picture. He's not getting us mixed up again, is he? With poor old Charlie.
Oh,
rest in peace. Watts.
Have we killed anybody lately?
No, I don't think so.
Charlie Watts? I don't think so. No.
But who? Oh, there's a picture of Johnny Walker here. It comes up when you search your name.
Yeah. No.
There's no picture of me and you standing side by side. No, definitely not.
Dear Nick and Carol, following on from your very excellent practice podcast, I'd like to question the assumption that only dogs hump one another. We have 2 female golden retrievers and they often hump each other. Can you reinvestigate? Says Chris from the sunny uplands of Germany, where fuel is free flowing and all the supermarkets have turkeys.
Yeah.
God, people are whining about Christmas already and we're like 2 months out.
I know. I wrote about that in my column actually last week as well. I can't take any more talk about Christmas in the middle of October. I can't.
It's just too much. Yeah, it's too early. Let's freak out about it later.
It really is, and daytime TV, I know that's, my business, but it's just a wash with talk about Christmas already. And we're not even halfway through October yet. Well, maybe we've just started.
You mean they're talking about the joys of Christmas or the potential nightmare?
Well, all of it.
Is it news or is it how to make your own tinsel?
No. Are you shopping for Christmas yet? Are you food shopping?
Yes.
Have you ordered your turkey? Have you these sort of these daytime TV questions that you hear? And there's a question on the screen. It's, are you getting ready for Christmas yet? Are you worried about Christmas being cancelled? No. Are you worried about seriously? And it's like, it's doing me head in.
The solution is don't watch daytime television, eh, Carol?
Shut up. Shut up. It's my business.
Right. This one says, hi, Nix and Kazza. Can you tell me why I listen to you both, even when you're both wrong about everything? Love you lot, says Rafi.
Hey? Excuse me?
Yeah. Apparently we're wrong. We were wrong about everything. Or 50% of us is wrong about everything. So 100% of us are wrong about 50% of things.
Yeah, we can't both be wrong about everything because...
That's right, because we disagree about everything with each other. So at least one of us has to be right. Me.
Well, if I remember rightly on the last podcast, we agreed 3 times before the first 10 minutes.
That's right. Very strange.
Yeah.
Right. Dear Tweedledee and Tweedledum, why do I find it impossible to tell somebody I miss them without thinking that if I do, it's going to ruin a friendship if they don't feel the same way? Should I just keep it bottled up inside and keep my mouth shut, or open it and risk looking like an idiot, says Terry. Oh. That's the actual proper problem that we've had.
That really is. It is a problem, actually. It's like saying you might be scared to say to someone, I love you, because if they don't say it back, you'll just be devastated.
Big problem.
But I miss you is, yes.
It depends. So, if it is an alternative to saying I love you, then you're going to have to think long and hard. And if you are concerned about saying it, then that probably tells you something about the potential response.
I don't tell Mark I miss him. I say to him, are you missing me?
Oh, God.
I do. I always say it. And he goes,
terrible.
But you know what he says? He goes, yeah, of course I am.
He's not actually listening, is he? It's just like, It's like a noise, like a constant noise coming at him. And he's going, oh, I know.
You're so right about that. You are so right about that. And sometimes I have to test him. I say something, he goes, yeah, all right, yeah. And I go, what did I just say? And he's like, oh, I don't know, I was listening. It's like, he doesn't even bother to lie, say he was listening. Oh, I know what you said, don't make me repeat it. Doesn't even try that. Just goes, no, sorry, I don't know, I wasn't listening. But when I say, are you missing me? And he says, he just says, yeah, of course I am. I'm like, well, at least try and sound like you mean it. Not like,
that's terrible, Carol. I mean, talk about passive aggressive. I'm missing you, which is a nice thing. are you missing me? Which is a challenge.
Yeah, dare you to say no.
Exactly. That's terrible.
Well, I'm missing him actually. He's gone to the shops, and he's been gone quite a long time. So,
well, that's ridiculous. He's gone to the shops, and you're missing him.
Well, because I bet he's in the pub. That's probably why. Right.
So you're missing the pub, not him.
No, I'm not missing the pub. I'm not drinking today.
I bet you do. It's Sunday.
No. Well, I might.
See? That didn't take long, did it?
I might have one. I might have one, but...
One, yeah, sure you will. You'll stop at one. Yeah, that's right.
No, I can't. I've got too much to do. Oh, my God. I've got so much to do. Anyway,
Carol, you don't do anything.
You don't know the half of it. So put a giant sock in it.
In it, right.
Yeah.
Okay, Knickers and Kazza met a woman online from a site that's meant to be... but the last one, why do I find it impossible to tell someone I miss them? I think you should. I mean, if it's not like a love thing, if it's a friend, then absolutely. Because, like a year can go by and you don't make contact with a friend. I don't know whether miss is the warning word there. I think it's a love thing, isn't it?
I don't know if you can miss someone if you don't spend all your time with them anyway. Do you know what I mean? When you haven't seen a friend for a year, you can't go, oh, I miss you, because you don't. I mean, I don't really miss any of my friends. I miss seeing them and I miss going out with them and I miss, going for dinner and things like that. But I don't miss them as...
I think that counts.
It does count. I suppose it does count. But I don't miss them as people in my life because they're not in my life. You can only miss someone if they're in it.
Yeah, this goes back to one of the questions at the beginning, which was, why do people get the hump when I haven't messaged them in a while?
Yeah.
I think there's this sort of, and it also ties up with social media and all of that. And people aren't, and COVID, of course, people aren't face-to-facing much lately, are they?
No.
And, I think we should reintroduce that. Stop talking to people on your phone and talk to them with your mouth.
But this was what the collective worldwide meltdown. This is what happened. There were people who were like, "Oh my God, I might actually have to speak to somebody now, rather than go on me WhatsApp and send them a message." You know what I mean? It's
or they're riding on the bus or wherever, and they've got nothing to do but look out the window. You remember looking out the window?
Looking out the window, yeah. Or people were at work and they had to actually do some work rather than scroll through Facebook for 4 or 5 hours a day.
Right.
And I was kind of thinking to myself, I wish it would all just go away completely. Can you imagine? How fantastic would that be? How much time we would all have.
There would be a certain period of getting used to it, and people would just be wandering around the street not knowing what to do and how to, like people would be in a pub, like there'd be a group of people around a table, and they'd actually be talking to each other rather than communicating by typing to people who aren't there.
Yeah. Isn't that the most extraordinary thing that people do that? They all sit, they go to a pub with some friends and then sit there constantly on their phones talking to people who they're not with, who aren't there. So, I mean, it's madness. It is madness, isn't it? It's a form of madness.
And it's also physically debilitating. You see kids today who have humped backs like old ladies because they spend their entire day with their heads down and forward, gawping at their phones. I mean, I see that quite a lot. Kids with like teenagers with sort of hump backs. God, it's awful.
Yeah, I know. It is a worry. It is a worry, but it's the future. And I hate this saying, but it's the only way to kind of describe it. The genie is way too far out of the bottle and it can't go back in. And it's a shame. And I'll say it again. I'm so glad I'm old.
It's funny, isn't it? The old saying, the meek shall inherit the earth. It's probably some Bible thing. That moon-faced creep who runs Facebook has inherited the earth.
Oh God, him. I don't know which one's worse. I just don't know which one's worse. Him, the Zucker creature, or the Twitter creature, the Jack, whatever his name is. I mean, oh my God, they're so both creepy, aren't they? Creepy looking, creepy behaviour.
Yeah.
Just horrible. It does make me want to. I've never been on Facebook. You're on Facebook, aren't you?
I actually haven't looked at Facebook in like 2 months. It occurred to me today that I haven't done anything on Facebook at all, and I should, just for like commercial reasons to advertise my work. But I just forget it's there.
Well, exactly. That's a good sign. That means you don't have to go to FaceHab.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually have. Like I keep in touch with old school friends that I used to know when I was 10, and and have arguments about politics. Who cares?
No. Well, I did actually text my old school friend yesterday because it was her birthday. So I am kind of in touch with my old school friends, but not on a sort of daily basis. Oh, what's happening? How you doing? Oh, I miss you. I don't. None of that. It's just I do keep in touch, but not on Facebook. I've never been on Facebook. Have you ever tried to delete a Facebook account? It's the most impossible thing. Mark deleted his entire Facebook things, just so sick of it. And it took about, I don't know, I think for about 2 or 3 months, they kept saying, we're going to give you one more chance. Do you definitely want to delete this account? And it's like, yeah, how many times? And then they go, you will lose everything if you delete this account. And it's like, yep, I know what I'm doing. Seriously, it's bloody impossible. And Google, there is absolutely no way to delete a Google account.
Really?
I've been trying to do it this week. And I mean, even if you Google, how do you delete a Google account?
You think it wouldn't come up? Like nothing would come up.
But it doesn't. It doesn't. It comes up with all these instructions. And then you go on the settings menu and everything. And it's obviously buried deep in the Google, like whatever it is, it's like a tree, isn't it, of settings and options, and you just can't find it. I just don't know.
Evil, nasty people.
Maybe someone out there could help me with that problem. How do you delete a Google account? Somebody must know.
They'll send you the instructions on Instagram. Right. Nick and Carol, in your last podcast, you discussed how the rich have a certain aura around them. During the conversation, Nick said that he could see hedge fund types sitting outside of a cafe in Mayfair doing their business. Here in the north, the only things that do their business in the streets are dogs. Are the streets of London no longer paved with gold, says Kev. Right.
I saw that email and I read it and it made me chuckle then, and it's just made me chuckle again. So thank you for that. It's very funny.
Dear Nick and Carol, I have just been listening to your podcast and was shocked, yes, shocked, by the story of Carol standing on a bar stool in front of Richard Branson with her tights and her pants down. She said that when she fell, it was lucky she didn't crack her head open. Picturing this, it was more lucky that Richard Branson didn't fall and head her crack open.
God, that's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, you do understand I'll have to bleep almost all of that.
Oh my God. And you know what? I saw that email as well and I looked and I thought, what doesn't even make sense? I obviously didn't read it properly. Because now you just read that. That's actually what it says. And I was thinking, well, why would Richard Branson fall and crack his head open? Why would he do that? And then I was like, no,
And on that very picturesque note, that's it. If you subscribe to this podcast, the next episode will get squirted up your life as though by magic on Mondays. If you want us to have a bash at your issue, simply send it to the following address.
Nick and Carol at global.com.
That's NICKANDCAROL at global.com, and prepare for mild amounts of satisfaction.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
don't get too excited.
No, exactly.
Meanwhile, what do you want to hear what I do, Nickers, or do you want to tell me what you do first?
I'll tell you what I do first. I do another podcast called The Nick Abbot Habit, which is pretty much the very first week we're at now that we heard news from China about this mysterious disease. And I think at the time of the podcast that's coming out, 40 people on Earth had died from it, as far as we knew. 40. That's how early on it was.
So that was January then, 2020? January? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. And so it's really bizarre, reliving all of that, knowing what's coming. It's also funny, it's very funny. It's like the funniest bits clipped out. It takes a half an hour. It's called The Nick Abbot Habit. And we also do the whole show, the Friday and Saturday night show. We take the ads and the news out. It takes less time to listen to, and eco-warriors won't have to superglue their faces to your face. It's called Nick Abbot, The Whole Show. And you can get that where you got these. And I'll be back on the radio Friday, Saturday and Sunday night at 10 on LBC.
Is that 10 till 1?
It is.
Yeah, good. I do Loose Women, which I've been doing quite a bit lately since I've been back in the UK. And that's on ITV at 12:30, Monday to Friday. And I do a column, which I write for Best Magazine. And Best Magazine is available in all good supermarkets and newsagents.
Best supermarkets.
The best supermarkets and the best news agents. And it is the best magazine. And this is, I always do this. I start stalling because I can't remember what I wrote about this week.
Is it about me?
No, it's not about you. It's not about you. I can't remember. I know it's got a Christmas in it, but
God. Well, you're part of the problem.
No, there's me moaning about having to keep talking about Christmas. That's like exactly as I said before. And that's it, really. What else do I do? Well, I'm not on tour anymore. That's it, really. Nothing else.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's that then. Yeah. Carol, missing you already.
Yeah, miss you, Nickers. I really miss you.